In this video, I'm going to be breaking down some practical steps for you to get started and be successful with the carnivore diet. I personally have lost 94 pounds eating real food and being on carnivore. I am a certified health coach and registered behavior therapist that also helps my clients to get to their weight loss goals. The people I have worked with on this have lost an average of 23.5 pounds in their first 30 days. So carnivore is a super powerful way to lose weight, but I actually started it as a mental health journey because it is the most powerful diet for mental health as well. Mental health, physical health, so many beautiful things can be healed through with the carnivore diet. So you ready to get started? Let's get going. I was suffering from anxiety and depression and all these crazy, just spinning thoughts in my head. And it was like 10 days in to eating the carnivore diet that just completely grounded and mellowed out. And all of the sudden, weight that had been like, I had been at a weight loss stall for a year, guys, a year. And all of a sudden, the weight just started freaking dropping off dramatically. I am 48 years old, so premenopausal women, comment below what's your biggest struggle right now. And this is what I can tell you is being on the carnivore diet, eating beef, bacon, eggs, butter, a little bit of cheese here and there has freaking saved my life. And I don't say that lightly. I was seriously having a mental health crisis, and this grounded me. It helped me feel safe. The weight just started falling off. And I see the same thing for my clients all the time. So in this video, I'm going to help you get started. January is World Carnivore Month. So it is the perfect time to take back control of your health. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to get started with carnivore, what things to watch out for in the beginning, how to transition smoothly, and common things to watch out for, things that can be problematic as you're changing your diet, things that people don't talk about all the time that can be rough as you're transitioning, that you will definitely want to stay tuned till the end so that you will know these common pitfalls and how to avoid them and how to navigate through them. So getting started with carnivore, the first thing I want you to do is clean out your pantry. Clean out your flour and your sugar. Clean out all your prepackaged foods. You're not going to need them for this next segment of your life. So it's time to bid them adieu. It is very, very important that you start with cleaning out your cupboards, cleaning out your fridge, cleaning all of those things out for a really fresh start. And I know you may be thinking, but not everyone in the family is doing this diet. Not everyone in my household wants to eat this way. They want to eat the junk. They want to eat these other things. And here's what I want to say about that is that we need to start treating this carbohydrate addiction as the addiction that it is. Like, we would never tell a meth addict to go into a place that is filled with meth and be like, yeah, just, you're going to be fine. Just avoid it. Just tell people it's fine. That's not fine. And your family and the people around you that need to support you need to understand that it's not fine for you either, frankly. It is an addiction, and we are going to treat it as such. Get it out of your house. Just clean everything out. And if you're worried about wasting it, this is what I always say about wasting it. You can waste the food or you can waste the food. Which one do you want to do? Because I'm done wasting food. I'm going to have a naturally beautiful and fit body is what I'm going to do. So ask yourself that question. When you think to yourself, you have that subconscious thought that comes up, do I want to waste this? It feels wasteful. Do you want it to feel wasteful and put it in the garbage, or do you want it to feel wasteful? I don't want that. So that's going to be your first thing. Your next thing is to understand what to eat. So I would recommend being pretty clean in the beginning so that your body gets a ground floor of what feeling optimal feels like for you. So beef, butter, bacon, eggs. That's basically what you're going to be eating in the beginning. But I also want you to understand that jumping full in is going to depend on what you were eating before. Here's what I mean by that. I actually transitioned from a mostly vegan diet before which is why my mental health was in such a state as it was. And I was eating a lot of vegetables. So vegetables have what are called oxalates in them, and oxalates cause a lot of inflammation in your body. And here's something interesting that happens when you transition to not eating any oxalate foods is it likes to flush out of your system. So the second your body says, "Oh cool, there's no oxalates coming in, I can now flush them out of my system." And it's called oxalate dumping. And their oxalates are like these little crystals that have like knives and stuff all on it. It's like a very pokey crystal. So if you think of what a kidney stone looks like, we're talking about that same type of crystal where they are very pokey and not friendly for your body at all. So when your body is trying to get rid of the oxalates in your system really quickly, because it's like, oh, there's no more oxalates coming in, it's time to flush them all out, you can get symptoms called oxalate dumping, which can come in the form of, it can come out your eyes. That's a place they come out. And so you'll get like really gooey eyes and really crunchy things around your eyes. It can come out through your skin, and you can get rashes that are really painful and itchy and uncomfortable. It can come as extra inflammation in your joints. So transitioning too quickly when you've had a lot of oxalates in your system right prior can cause some oxalate dumping symptoms. So something you can do to avoid that is to keep some oxalates in your diet. And here's how I would recommend doing that. So we're doing a couple of things when we do carnivore. We are getting rid of oxalates, and we are getting our body into a deep ketosis. So those are kind of two things that are happening. You are getting rid of all carbs, and through getting rid of all carbs, which is one of the differences between carnivore and keto, is you're getting rid of the carbs, but you're also getting rid of oxalates and lectins that are going to cause issues in your body. And so when you do that, again, it can cause these issues that feel like a problem for a minute. So I still recommend going down to that 0 carb level that we do in carnivore. Carnivore is a 0 carbohydrate diet, basically. So how would you keep an oxalate in if you're going to be 0 carbohydrate? There's a few things like a tea or a coffee that is going to have a little bit of oxalate in it, and it's going to slow those oxalate dumping systems so that it is a smoother transition in. I will tell you, once you get through to the other side of oxalate dumping, everything clears up. So my skin has never been healthier. My joints have never been healthier. Like I told my husband the other day, I'm like, I don't know if I can exercise to the point where I get sore anymore. I go to the gym 5 or 6 days a week, and I work out for about 90 minutes, and I work out hard. Like I work out really strenuously. I never get sore anymore. Like my body doesn't know how to do that anymore. So there's beauty on the other side, but that first little transition-y phase can be difficult depending upon what that looks like for you. So still get in and buy the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Eat that. And then just add, if you're somebody who ate a lot of vegetables right prior to doing this, then I would recommend drinking a little bit of tea, drinking a little bit of coffee, having something that's going to have pretty much no carbohydrate, but has some oxalate in it, so that that transition can go a little bit smoother for your body. If you were not eating a lot of vegetables before, you're probably going to be okay. If you were standard American diet junk food, there's actually not a ton of oxalates in junk food. Depends on the junk food. That has other issues, obviously, but not a lot of oxalates. So you're going to clean out your pantry. You're going to go get some beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. You're going to eat just that. That's it. Beef, butter, bacon, eggs. I would recommend you doing that for at least a month so that you can see what optimal health for your body looks like. If you're transitioning from a high vegetable diet, then I do recommend keeping some like green tea, black tea, or a little bit of coffee still involved. Tea actually has a higher oxalate amount than coffee does. Something else that can happen in the beginning as you are transitioning is that your electrolyte balance in your body may be off a little bit as you're transitioning. So that is another thing to be careful of as you're transitioning. So signs to watch for that you need more electrolytes in your body would be muscle cramping and soreness in that area. So if it's joints, you're probably looking at oxalates. If it is muscles, you are probably looking at electrolytes. There are ways to get more electrolytes in your body pretty naturally. You want to be making sure to salt your meats and eggs heavily with a good Himalayan sea salt. If you need to supplement your electrolytes, there's plenty of companies out there that have a plain, no sugar, no stevia, nothing added electrolyte that you can add in. I've noticed for myself, it's the magnesium portion that I'm missing. And so I just take a magnesium supplement because I have the rest of everything else. So like my salt levels are good, potassium levels seem good. My magnesium isn't quite as good. And so I just take a magnesium supplement. This is the ancestral diet of human beings. But because we haven't eaten this way, and you personally haven't eaten this way your entire lifetime, it's going to take your body a minute to readjust to what that looks like. So most people get started on the carnivore diet to lose weight. Comment below if you are in this to lose weight. And it is a beautiful way to get your body into a healthy stasis with a good, healthy weight for you. Here's what I want you to do in regards to weight loss. I want you to pay attention to how eating affects your weight, but I don't want you to overjudge it or calorie restrict at all. So as long as you're eating beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, you are not going to restrict calories. You're not going to restrict quantity. All you're going to do is you're going to eat food, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs until you're full. When you're full, stop. When you're hungry, eat again. That's all you're going to do. But I want you to pay attention. If you eat a whole bunch of eggs one day, did that have an effect on your weight? If you eat a whole bunch of beef one day and you seasoned it a lot, did that affect your weight? Did that affect your mental health? Because in a lot of really clean carnivore groups, you don't use seasoning, actually. You just use salt, because seasoning comes from plants, which can have oxalates, which can have effects on your body. So right now, the first month, what you want to do is cut it down to beef, butter, bacon, eggs, a little bit of salt to season with, and notice what happens when you do that compared to when you do anything else, because it will affect your weight. And I want you to notice that. I also want you to notice how things like electrolytes affect your weight, because if you're already having enough salt, it will actually have you hold on to more water weight the next day. So that is a sign that you don't need the full electrolyte with the salt in it. You may just need magnesium or potassium, which does not have that effect on your body. Because if your body already has enough salt and you add extra to it, what's going to do is it's going to have you hold on to extra water weight. So pay attention to those things in the beginning, because what we want to do is get you to a full 2 weeks where you're at absolutely optimum level. And so I want you to see this with an air of curiosity, just like, how is this affecting me? How do I feel? Instead of having somebody else be the expert on your body, I want you to notice how you feel. Do you feel satiated? How does your mental health feel? How's your anxiety feel? Start to notice those things and see those patterns for yourself, because I would love for you to become the expert on your body. Something else that's really important as you get started is to take body measurements. A lot of times our body is toning up and releasing fat and changing composition, and we don't even realize it because we're only looking at the scale. Well, muscle weighs a lot more than fat does. Water weight releases do interesting things to our body composition. Swelling, bloating, all of those things do interesting things to our body composition. So take measurements at the beginning. And then I would say about once a week, you want to take measurements again so that you can notice those changes that are happening within your body that may not be reflected in the scale. Another big change that people are not used to with the carnivore diet is how simple meals are. Keep it simple. It's so easy to get up and just eat a couple of eggs and some bacon. That's all you've got to do, friends. And for those of you with a family, I get that. Maybe your kids want to have a little bit more variety. Guess what? You're going to make a steak for yourself. You're going to make a steak for everyone else. You're going to serve them some vegetables or a potato or something like that to go with it, and you're not going to eat that part. You're going to make the same meals for you as you do for everyone else, and just keep it simple. There's so many easy recipes. If you follow my shorts, I'm always talking about what I eat in a day and different recipes, but even think outside of the realm of recipes, because that is almost too complicated for what carnivore is. It's literally like, make some scrambled eggs. That doesn't need a recipe to do. Make a piece of steak. That doesn't need a recipe to do. Even like one of our favorites, which is taco bowls, like find a clean taco seasoning once you get to a seasoning point, which will be in my next video, and put it in your ground beef. So stinking easy. Everything is so much more simple than every other diet out there. Everything else is like, here's your big complicated recipe. Guys, we're just talking beef, butter, bacon, eggs, and a little salt. Doesn't need a recipe. Keep it simple. That is one of the biggest changes, I think, if anyone out there has done keto diet. There's all these super complicated ingredients and recipes and cauliflower crust and almond flour and all of these things you have to buy. That's not what this is. It is so stinking easy and simple. It's one of the things that makes it so freaking sustainable is how easy it is. So keep it super, super, super simple. Go to the grocery store, buy a bunch of meat that looks fantastic, cook the meat, eat the meat. That's basically carnivore for you. So keep it super simple. The other thing I want to say is the biggest question I get from people when they are starting is, do I have to eat just beef, butter, bacon, eggs, and salt forever? And that is up to an individual. I'm going to say it depends on what your health goals are, what your mental health is, what your body physical health is at the time. Some people actually can transition into more of a ketovore diet that might have a couple of vegetables that don't bother them, or a berry that's going to be like a lower carb fruit. Some people need to stay super, super, super strict and can't even get outside of beef for their main meat source because of how many complicated issues their body has. So what you're going to want to do is watch this video next that is going to tell you how to keep this long-term sustainable. This has been Julie May. I hope you have a meat-tastic day, and I will see you in the next video.